The starship Endeavour floated silently in the blackness of space. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction, tiny points of light in the dark ocean of the galaxy. Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge, her hands lightly resting on the railing as she watched the monitors. This was humanity's first deep space expedition beyond the nearby star systems, and every moment was a mix of awe, tension, and curiosity. "Captain," said Lieutenant Ryan Holt, the ship's navigator, "we're entering uncharted territory. Nothing on the sensors matches any known star charts." His voice carried a mix of excitement and caution. His green eyes were wide as he traced a glowing path across the screen. "This sector, it's empty, almost too empty." Alara nodded. Humanity had ventured far from Earth in the last century. Starships capable of interstellar travel were still rare, but the Endeavour was among the best equipped. Their mission was simple yet daring: explore the unknown, document alien phenomena, and seek signs of life. Humanity was small in the galaxy, barely noticed by the larger interstellar powers, but curiosity drove them forward. "Keep your sensors active," Alara said calmly. "We may be small, but we are careful. Let's see what secrets the stars hold." The crew continued their work. Technicians monitored the engines, navigators scanned for anomalies, and scientists pored over readings from distant stars and nebulae. Hours passed without incident, and yet the air on the bridge was tense. Humans were explorers, but explorers knew danger often hid in silence. It was the ship's science officer, Dr. Leora Chen, who first noticed the anomaly. Her fingers flew across the console, highlighting a faint energy signature coming from a nearby region of space. "Captain," she said, pointing at the screen, "there's something unusual. It's not a star, not a planet. The energy readings are stable but strong. It's artificial." Alara leaned over the console, studying the readouts. The signal was indeed strange. Unlike natural objects, it pulsed rhythmically, as if following a deliberate pattern. "Could it be a derelict ship?" she asked. Leora shook her head. "I've never seen anything like this. The energy source is sophisticated, definitely intelligent, and it's been broadcasting for a very long time." The crew shared looks of excitement and apprehension. Discovery was thrilling, but humanity's history was full of warnings about exploring unknown technologies. Yet, the desire to understand outweighed fear. "Prepare a probe," Alara commanded. "We'll gather more information before getting closer." The team moved quickly. In the cargo bay, engineers assembled a small, unmanned probe with high-resolution sensors. The probe's task was simple: approach the anomaly, record data, and return to the Endeavour. As the probe launched into space, all eyes were glued to the monitors. The craft moved cautiously, drawing closer to the glowing object. At first, it appeared as a small, irregular structure, shaped unlike any human construction. Then the light intensified and the shape became more distinct: a massive crystalline artifact floating silently among the stars. Its surface shimmered with colors that shifted and danced, as if alive. "Beautiful," whispered Leora. Her voice held awe. It's beautiful." Alara remained calm. "Beautiful, yes, but remember, we don't know its purpose. Stay cautious." The probe sent back images of complex patterns etched into the crystal surface. Symbols moved across the structure, glowing and fading like a living language. Even from a distance, it was clear the artifact was intelligent, perhaps older than humanity itself. "Can we decode it?" Ryan asked. "We'll try," said Leora. "But this is unlike any language we've ever seen. Its logic is alien, but the patterns suggest communication. Possibly a warning or an invitation." Curiosity won over caution. Alara made a decision that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. "We're moving closer, but keep a safe distance. No reckless actions. I want to study it without risking the ship." The Endeavour approached slowly. The artifact loomed larger in the viewport. Its surface pulsed in rhythm with an energy signature that seemed almost alive. Every crew member felt a mixture of excitement and unease. Suddenly, the artifact responded. A burst of light shot outward, a beam of energy that enveloped the Endeavor without harming it. Alarms sounded, not because the ship was damaged, but because the energy signature was intelligent. It was as if the artifact was aware of their presence and observing them in return. "What is it doing?" Ryan asked, eyes wide. "It's acknowledging us," Leora said slowly. "Or challenging us, I can't tell." For the next several hours, the crew studied the artifact. They transmitted a series of signals, simple mathematical patterns and basic light sequences, hoping for a response. The artifact mirrored the signals, altering its light patterns in ways that suggested comprehension. Humanity had made contact with an ancient intelligence, a creation beyond their understanding. But their interaction did not go unnoticed. Light years away, massive ships stirred. The galaxy's fiercest species, the Xyrath, had been monitoring the artifact for centuries. When it suddenly changed its emission pattern, they interpreted it as a signal. A small, curious species had dared to touch what was not theirs. Back on the Endeavor, the crew had no idea that they had drawn attention from a predator unlike any they had imagined. For now, the bridge was filled with wonder, the glow of the artifact reflecting in every eye. Alara watched as the light shifted again, sending patterns across the ship. "We've done something remarkable," she said softly. "Humanity is here. We've found something no one else has. But we must be careful. Not everyone in this galaxy will welcome us." Leora studied the artifact intently. "It's not just technology," she said. "It's alive in a sense. It reacts to thought and action. It's testing us. I think it wants us to prove ourselves." "Prove ourselves," Ryan repeated. He was still staring at the glowing patterns. "To whom?" Alara did not answer immediately. She had a sinking feeling in her chest, a warning that humans had stepped onto a larger stage than they understood. "Perhaps to the galaxy itself," she said finally. The night passed in a blur of observation, data collection, and nervous excitement. The crew ate little, barely sleeping. Every monitor, every sensor, every light on the bridge demanded attention. Humans had always been explorers, and now their curiosity had brought them face to face with a mystery older than their species. As dawn approached, a new reading appeared on the sensors. Massive ships, hundreds of kilometers long, were converging on the Endeavor's location. Their design was unlike anything humans had ever imagined, sleek, biomechanical, and terrifying. The Xyrath were here. Alara remained calm, her mind racing. "Prepare defensive protocols," she ordered. "Scan their ships. Gather as much information as you can. I want to know what we are facing." Ryan's voice trembled slightly. "Captain, they're huge. Our weapons won't stand a chance." Alara nodded. "I know. That's why we have to be smarter than them. Humanity survives not by strength alone, but by thinking differently, by being clever. Remember that." The Endeavor braced itself as the first of the Xyrath vessels appeared on the horizon of space. The stars seemed to dim in their presence, but even in fear, the humans did not falter. They were small, yes, but their courage, curiosity, and ingenuity had brought them this far. And for the first time, humanity would prove that even the smallest species could make the galaxy notice them. The artifact pulsed once more, a soft, knowing glow. It had sent its signal across the stars, and the response had arrived. Alara stared at the viewport. "Well," she said quietly, "it seems we've drawn the attention of the galaxy's fiercest species. Let's make sure they remember why humans should not be underestimated." The bridge went silent except for the hum of the ship and the glowing pulse of the alien artifact. Outside, the darkness of space stretched infinitely, filled with dangers and possibilities. Humanity's greatest adventure had only just begun. The Endeavor drifted in the darkness of space, its hull reflecting the faint pulse of the alien artifact. Outside, the first of the Xyrath warships appeared on the monitors, enormous and menacing. Their biomechanical forms gleamed with dark metal and organic plating, moving with a terrifying precision. Hundreds of smaller ships followed, forming a crescent of potential destruction. The humans were small, almost insignificant, but they were alive, and their curiosity had put them directly in the path of the galaxy's fiercest species. Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge, her eyes steady. "All stations report," she said, her voice calm despite the tension. Lieutenant Ryan Holt's hands flew over the navigation console. "Captain, their formation is incredible. It's as if they move as one organism. Their weapons are far more advanced than ours. One strike could tear the Endeavor apart." Science officer Leora Chen studied the artifact's energy readings, comparing them to the Xyrath vessels. "The artifact, it's glowing differently now. It's responding to them. I think it knew this would happen. It led them here." Alara's jaw tightened. "So we're part of a test." Her mind raced. Humanity had always survived by using creativity and intelligence. Now that survival instinct would be tested against a species that crushed entire worlds. "Prepare defensive protocols." And she paused, thinking carefully. "Try to communicate. If they can understand signals, we need to show we are aware, capable, and human," Leora finished quietly. Alara nodded. "Exactly. Show them we are alive, thinking, and worth noticing." The first Xyrath ship stopped several kilometers from the Endeavor. Its sensors scanned the smaller human vessel, the monitors showing a complex pattern of pulses that seemed to communicate silently. The humans could not fully understand the language, but instinct told them it was deliberate, methodical, and intelligent. "They're waiting," Ryan said. "They aren't attacking." Alara exhaled slowly. "That's unexpected. Usually first contact doesn't go this way, but we can use this time. Leora, interpret the pulses. Try to respond." Leora's fingers moved quickly across the console, sending a sequence of lights and pulses back to the Xyrath vessel. The artifact's glow flared in tandem, as if assisting. Slowly, the alien ship responded. The bridge lights shifted with new pulses, forming a pattern that humans could almost understand. It was not friendly, but it was not hostile either. They want us to prove something," Leora said. Her voice held awe and fear. "It's a test. They're not destroying us because they want to see if we can think differently." Alara felt a mixture of relief and unease. A test was better than instant destruction, but failure would still mean annihilation. "Then we will prove it," she said firmly. "Humanity survives because we adapt, because we create, and because we never give up." Over the next several hours, the humans prepared for what would become the first trial. The Xyrath had not issued direct commands, but the artifact pulsed insistently, guiding the humans toward a course. It pointed them toward a dense field of debris, a dangerous nebula where sensor readings were unreliable and navigation was difficult. The trial had begun. The Endeavor moved cautiously into the nebula. Clouds of charged particles made sensor readings erratic. The crew worked feverishly to calculate safe paths. Every mistake could tear the ship apart. Yet, despite the danger, a sense of purpose filled them. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, not on a galactic scale, but in exploration, in survival, and in moments of extreme pressure. They would do it again. Leora leaned over the console. "The artifact is guiding us. It's like a puzzle. We need to navigate through this nebula to reach whatever lies beyond, and the Xyrath are watching every move." Ryan shivered. "If we fail, they'll destroy us immediately." Alara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Then we will not fail. Stay focused. Think creatively. Humanity survives by using our minds, not just our weapons." The nebula's clouds twisted and turned around the Endeavor, electric currents sparking across their path. The ship's engines strained as they maneuvered through the dense space, avoiding unstable pockets of plasma and rogue asteroids. The Xyrath vessels remained outside the nebula, observing silently. Every pulse from the artifact seemed to encourage the humans, as if urging them forward. Midway through the nebula, disaster nearly struck. A sudden surge of energy erupted from the clouds, striking the Endeavor's hull. Alarms blared and sparks flew from the control panels. "Hull integrity dropping," shouted Chief Engineer Mara Kellen, her hands moving with precision across multiple consoles. "If we don't stabilize the engines, we're done." Alara's heart pounded, but she remained calm. "Focus on the solution, not the problem," she said. Humans had survived countless crises by thinking differently. This would be no different. Mara's fingers flew across the console, redirecting power to shields now. A bright arc of energy enveloped the ship, stabilizing it just enough to continue. The crew breathed a collective sigh of relief. They were not invincible, but their quick thinking had saved them. The nebula challenged them further. The artifact pulsed with increasing intensity, sending patterns that seemed almost like riddles. Leora studied them, realizing that each pulse corresponded to a navigational hazard, a warning of what lay ahead. It was a test of observation, intelligence, and timing. Hours passed in tense concentration. Humans worked in perfect coordination, adapting to challenges that no training could have fully prepared them for. Each obstacle required ingenuity, rerouting power to shields at just the right moment, adjusting thrusters to avoid debris fields, and even creating makeshift navigation markers from the ship's own sensors. Finally, they reached the heart of the nebula, a massive structure of crystal-like energy, suspended in the glowing clouds. The artifact's pulses intensified, confirming they had reached the correct location. But there was one final challenge. The Xyrath vessels were closing in, observing from the nebula's edge. Alara gathered her crew. "This is it," she said firmly. "We've come this far. Now we must show them that humans are not just curious, they are capable, resourceful, and brave. We will complete this trial, not because we must survive, but because we can." The final challenge required precise calculations and collaboration. The Endeavor had to synchronize its movements with the energy patterns of the crystal structure. One wrong move and the ship could be destroyed, but humans, small and inexperienced in the galaxy, were not afraid to think differently. Ryan adjusted the navigation, using a pattern derived from the artifact itself. "If we match this sequence," he said, "we can pass safely." Leora added, "I've calculated the energy flows. We need to move at exact intervals or we'll trigger a defensive reaction." With Alara's command, the crew executed the maneuver flawlessly. The ship glided through the crystal structure, energy pulses flowing around them like a river. The artifact's glow intensified, almost as if acknowledging their success. Outside the nebula, the Xyrath ships watched. There was no attack. Instead, their pulses shifted in a way that humans could almost perceive as approval. The trial was not over, but they had passed the first major test. The bridge erupted in quiet celebration. The crew hugged and smiled, their exhaustion mixed with relief. Humans were small, fragile, and inexperienced, but their ingenuity had carried them through. Alara took a deep breath. "We've survived the first trial, but this is only the beginning. The Xyrath are still here, and they will test us further. We must remain alert, adaptable, and united." Leora nodded, her eyes still on the monitors. "They respect intelligence, courage, and creativity. We have all three. That gives us a chance." Ryan looked out the viewport, his voice filled with awe. "We did it against the galaxy's fiercest species." Alara smiled faintly. "Yes, and if we continue like this, humanity will not only survive, we will thrive. We are small, but we are capable, and that is something even the Xyrath cannot ignore." As the Endeavor moved beyond the nebula, the artifact's glow slowly dimmed, its pulses fading to a steady rhythm. It had completed its first test, but the humans knew this was just the start. The Xyrath were patient, and their challenges would grow more dangerous. Yet for the first time, humanity had proven something important, that even in a galaxy filled with power and terror, A small species with courage and intelligence could hold its own. Alara stood at the bridge, looking at the stars. "The galaxy is watching," she said softly. "And we are ready to be seen." Outside, the Xyrath ships lingered, observing, calculating, and preparing for the next trial. Humanity had passed the first challenge, but the greatest tests were yet to come. And the humans of the Endeavor were ready to face them, not with strength, but with ingenuity, cooperation, and the indomitable will to survive. The adventure had only just begun. The Endeavor floated in the quiet of space, the nebula behind them now only a colorful memory on the monitors. The crew had survived the first trial, but Captain Alara Voss knew that the hardest challenges were still ahead. The Xyrath, the galaxy's fiercest species, had not attacked, but their presence was more threatening than any battle. The humans had passed the first test, but the ultimate challenge, the one that could decide humanity's fate, was yet to come. "Captain," said Lieutenant Ryan Holt, his voice steady despite the lingering tension, "the Xyrath ships are moving again. They're aligning in a formation. I don't know what it means." Alara studied the monitors. Hundreds of ships shifted in space, forming geometric patterns around the Endeavor. The artifact's glow, once steady, pulsed rapidly. It was sending signals, guiding, warning, and perhaps encouraging. Leora Chen, the ship's science officer, leaned over the console, her eyes wide with comprehension. "They're signaling us," she said. "The next trial, it's not just about survival anymore. It's about intelligence, creativity, and teamwork. They're testing everything we are capable of." Alara nodded. "Then we show them. Humans survive because we adapt. We survive because we think differently. We survive because we never give up. That is what we will show them." The Xyrath challenge became immediately apparent. Their formation opened a path through the stars, leading the Endeavor to a region of space filled with deadly cosmic phenomena. Energy storms, asteroid fields, and unstable gravitational zones. The humans had to navigate this region with precision, using the artifact's pulses as guidance. One wrong move could destroy the ship instantly. "Engineering," Alara commanded. "We need every system operating at maximum efficiency. Navigation, focus on the pattern. Science, interpret the artifact's signals. We are not just passing a test, we are proving that humans can survive in a galaxy that expects them to fail." Chief Engineer Mara Kellen worked feverishly at the controls, rerouting power, reinforcing shields, and monitoring every engine output. "We're ready, Captain," she said, her voice calm and precise. "The ship is at maximum performance. Let's see what humans can do." Ryan adjusted the navigation console, following the artifact's pulses. Each one indicated a safe path through the deadly region. But the challenge was not just to follow the signals. The humans had to anticipate changes, predict hazards, and adapt instantly. The Endeavor moved forward, gliding through the cosmic maze. Energy storms crackled around them, casting bright arcs of light across the hull. The crew worked in perfect coordination, anticipating each hazard before it became a threat. Suddenly, a massive asteroid erupted from a nearby gravity well, hurtling toward the ship at impossible speed. "Impact in 3 seconds," Ryan shouted. Alara reacted instantly. "Engage lateral thrusters. Divert shields forward." Mara executed the commands flawlessly. The ship twisted through space, just barely avoiding the massive rock. Sparks flew along the hull, but the shields held. The crew exhaled, adrenaline mixing with relief. Humans were small, fragile, and inexperienced compared to the galaxy's fiercest species, but they were capable of incredible precision under pressure. Leora leaned over the console, studying the artifact. "It's almost as if it's teaching us. Every obstacle, every danger is meant to test our ability to think, adapt, and work together." Alara nodded. "Then we continue learning. Every mistake we avoid, every solution we find, proves that humans belong among the stars." Hours passed as the humans navigated the cosmic hazards. Each crew member contributed in unique ways. Mara's engineering skills kept the ship alive, Ryan's navigation kept them on the correct path, and Leora's interpretation of the artifact ensured they responded correctly to every pulse. Alara coordinated it all, ensuring every decision was made calmly and strategically. Finally, the Endeavor reached the center of the hazard field, a massive, glowing structure, larger than any ship, composed of swirling energy and crystalline formations. The artifact pulsed rapidly, its light bathing the ship in a spectrum of colors. This was the final part of the trial, and the humans knew it. The structure emitted a series of energy patterns, almost like a puzzle. It demanded precision, creativity, and coordination. Each pulse required a corresponding action from the Endeavor. Timing, calculation, and intuition were crucial. One wrong move and the humans could trigger a catastrophic reaction. Alara took a deep breath. This is it. Every decision, every action counts. Humans survive because we adapt, because we create, because we think differently. Now we show them what that means. Ryan's hands flew over the navigation controls. We need to match the energy sequence exactly. If we misalign, the reaction could destroy us. Leora studied the artifact, her fingers moving across the console. I've calculated the pattern, but it's not just following, it's anticipating. We have to predict the next pulse before it happens. Mara nodded. Then we synchronize. Engines, shields, navigation, everything must work as one. The Endeavor moved carefully, matching each pulse with precise adjustments. Energy flows wrapped around the ship, shifting and twisting in rhythm with their actions. The crew held their breath, knowing that every second counted. Suddenly, a massive surge of energy struck the ship, stronger than anything before. Alarms blared and sparks flew from the consoles. The Endeavor shook violently, and for a moment it seemed as if the trial would end in failure. "Steady," Alara shouted. "Focus on the solution, not the problem." Mara rerouted all available power to stabilize the shields. Ryan adjusted the thrusters to counteract the energy surge. Leora recalculated the pulse sequence in real time. Every crew member acted in perfect harmony, demonstrating ingenuity, courage, and skill under pressure. Slowly, the energy flows stabilized. The ship moved smoothly again, perfectly aligned with the artifact's pulses. The glowing structure brightened, almost as if acknowledging their success. The Xyrath ships remained at the edge of the hazard field, observing silently. Their pulses shifted in complex patterns, a sign of approval or at least recognition. Humanity had survived the final trial. The bridge erupted in quiet celebration. The crew hugged and smiled, exhausted but triumphant. They had faced the galaxy's fiercest species and survived, not with brute strength, but with intelligence, creativity, and teamwork. Humans were small, fragile, and inexperienced, yet they had proven they could match the challenges of the cosmos. Alara stood at the bridge, looking at the glowing structure and the Xyrath ships beyond. "We've done it," she said softly. "Humans are not just survivors. We are thinkers, creators, and explorers. We belong among the stars." Leora smiled. "The artifact, it has recognized us. It will help others see that humans are capable, not just curious." Ryan nodded. "And the Xyrath, they've seen it too. We're not just tiny prey. We're formidable in our own way." Alara felt a surge of pride. Humanity had faced an impossible test and succeeded. They had proven that intelligence, courage, and cooperation could overcome even the most fearsome opponents. For centuries, humans had been considered small, weak, and insignificant. Now, in the eyes of the galaxy's fiercest species, they were a force to be respected. The artifact pulsed one last time, its glow steady and calm. It had completed its purpose, guiding humanity through the trials and demonstrating that even a small species could rise to greatness. Alara looked at her crew. "This is only the beginning. We have proven ourselves today, but the galaxy is vast, full of challenges and opportunities. We will face them together as humans always have, with courage, ingenuity, and heart. Outside, the Xyrath ships began to retreat slowly. They had witnessed humanity's potential and recognized it. The galaxy's fiercest species, known for crushing entire civilizations, had shown restraint. Humans had earned their respect, not through power, but through creativity and determination. The crew of the Endeavour cheered quietly, the weight of their accomplishment settling in. They had survived the trials, earned recognition, and discovered something even more important, the true strength of humanity. Alara gazed out at the stars. "We are small," she said softly, "but we are capable of greatness. The galaxy may be vast and dangerous, but humans have something no one else can match. The will to survive, the courage to explore, and the creativity to solve any problem." As the ship continued its journey beyond the nebula, the artifact remained behind, its purpose fulfilled. Humanity had passed the trials, and the galaxy would never forget the species that faced impossible odds and survived through ingenuity and courage. The Endeavour moved forward, leaving behind the nebula and the Xyrath ships. For the first time, humans truly understood their place in the cosmos. They were explorers, thinkers, and survivors, and they had proven that even the smallest species could rise to greatness in a galaxy filled with giants. The adventure was far from over. New stars, new worlds, and new challenges awaited. But for now, humanity had achieved something extraordinary: recognition, respect, and the knowledge that even in the face of the fiercest adversaries, they could endure and triumph. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of danger and wonder, but also opportunity. Humanity had survived, and they would continue to thrive, lighting their own path through the galaxy. Alara stood on the bridge, looking at her crew. "Let this be the first of many steps," she said. "Humanity has proven itself. The galaxy has taken notice. And from here, the future is ours." The Endeavour sailed onward, a small ship with a brave crew, carrying the spirit of humanity into the unknown, ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store. "Well done, you've drawn the attention of the galaxy's fiercest species.